Welcome back to another episode of Can Blue, a hockey podcast covering the Rangers and the Canadiens. I'm your host, Ben, covering the Rangers.
I'm Brendan, covering the Canadiens.
And we have a lot of things going on, just travel and, some similar kind of trade rumors that we've been hearing. But as far as for the pod, let's just get off the bat and say, please continue to subscribe and share and like. It does a lot for us if you get our link on YouTube, or we also post on Spotify if you get that out to people that you know.
Shout out to the regulars that watch us. We appreciate your support.
Every new subscriber, it makes us feel happy, especially because we have like 19 right now. So
right.
Everyone,
and it's only going to go up.
Yeah,
so
everyone is great, so thank you. A couple things for us. We're going to Montreal Thursday.
This week?
Yeah. We're going up there. There's a hockey tournament that I'm coaching, but we are going to go to the Habs-Rangers game. So it's going to be some good content there.
Amazing content, to say the least.
I think, even though now I'm on the side of, wow, I don't really want to do this.
Now you know how it feels.
I think we have to do a bet.
Probably, yep. I'd say that's fair.
Yeah. Where's your mic?
It's right here.
Oh, nice. Good. It was hidden. I thought it was like in your pants or something. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this last Sunday off the pod.
Off the pod, yeah.
What do you want to do for the bet? Because I'm kind of like, I think the Rangers have had the Habs number all year, so there's a decent chance that they win. But the way that their season is going, I'm way less certain. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what I want to risk here. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I feel like we have to be somewhat different from last time. And instead of saying something on the pod, since we're actually there, I feel like maybe we could do something in person. But it could be a little different,
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I was thinking if the Rangers win, I'd somehow slip into a Rangers jersey. And I have to do that publicly. So public
Centre Bell.
at the Bell Center. And that would be
horrible.
That would be really humiliating, and I don't know why I came up with my own punishment.
Yeah.
But I was thinking for you, if Montreal would win, you just like while exiting the stadium, you just chant like "Go Rangers" or something.
Like we want the cup.
Yeah.
After a loss.
And you keep the jersey on it, of course. And after a loss, you just say some chanting. I'll give you like an X amount of what you could do. And yeah, I think both are pretty interesting and humiliating.
Right. So I think we're gonna try to record up there.
Yep.
One day,
we
right?
will.
So obviously you're not gonna have your equipment up there.
That's another thing.
In the game.
If I can get the camera, that would be an added plus.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask some relatives that may or may not know, or I just call the Bell Center.
Yeah.
But if we could get the camera in, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. So, I'm still a fan of, just to keep things equal, swapping jerseys for the next episode.
Okay.
For whoever wins.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Maybe we don't have to say anything on the episode, but I think that's a good plan of when we're in the Bell Center.
We'll come up with something.
Yeah, something like that where the jersey, and worst case it'll just be a phone recording that we'll stitch to the video.
Right.
Best case we'll have the camera with us.
Our phones could suffice too.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, I think this sounds like to me a bet. A bet.
Yeah,
on the,
I will
making.
shake on it. Let's
shake on it. We are trending upwards. I mean, this week that we will recap clearly shows that I don't think we're a joke.
No, you're not a joke. You're not a joke. They are. Even last I checked, the Blue Jackets were in the last wildcard spot, but you had a couple games in hand, and you were.
They're actually killing it too,
behind.
though.
They were, yeah. No.
They still are.
Yes.
They have a couple points, at least a couple more points ahead of us in the wild card race. I'm worried about them and Pittsburgh in that race right now. It's a tough race. There's a lot of teams. And Detroit as well.
I don't see I know they're hot and they're maybe above you or close, but I don't see that as much of a threat as you guys are right now, because
who's that guy? Is it Voronikov or
Chinikov and on
the guy
Columbus?
Marchenko,
yeah. Kirill Marchenko,
yeah. I mean, that guy, I kind of feel like he came out of left field. You had a feeling about him fantasy-wise.
Yeah,
but
I had him a couple years in a row in fantasy, and I think I had him just like a year too early, basically, because I
Right.
didn't take him this year, and he.
But did you have like that feeling that he would be?
I just was like, oh,
good player?
high drafted, Russian. I think he's a winger, right? And
Yeah.
so I was thinking that he could find something similar like what Panarin or
Krill.
Kaprizov have.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
maybe just takes him a little bit longer because those
Yeah,
guys
and he's
came
heating up
over
in the
and they're
right
older.
time.
Yeah. So, but the thing with those teams, like the Penguins, yeah, you got Crosby, you got Malkin, they can capture some lightning in a bottle for a couple stretches, but I don't see them as a real threat. Like,
Who is their
what is-
goalie?
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Like, is Jari still on the team? And if not,
I mean, last we heard he was put down to the
yeah,
AHL.
right. But I thought that was like a conditioning.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't see like the Penguins have been kind of just trying to retool a little while they can still capture like the Crosby magic, and they like ultimately I don't see them as much of a threat. And then same with the Blue Jackets. It's like I don't think Merzlikins wants to be there really. Like I've heard reports about him like potentially wanting to go somewhere else, and that team is doing some awesome stuff, especially in light of the terrible like news in the summer, and they're kind of winning in spite of the roster,
Yeah.
and like I think it's a great story, and if they make it, I will not be upset at all. But I
Yeah.
do think that as a whole, the Habs have a much like stronger, deeper lineup, kind of top to bottom.
Really?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
they have Monahan, which is like he's been right. The
Columbus,
Blue Jackets,
yeah.
yeah. They have Monahan. He's been good. They
Fantilli.
have like they have some young stars. Their goalie has been in the league
Zach
for a while.
Werenski
But
is,
That's
heating
true.
up to
That's
be,
true.
I don't know, like a Dahlin type of guy.
I think it's
as a quarterback
pretty,
there.
Well, so here, Dahlin is like almost always in the conversation for Norris, right? And Werenski hasn't really been there yet. So I think
He's certainly there now.
I don't think he's in the comp. I don't think he's top 3.
Dude, he's like has so many points.
Yeah, but I don't think he's top 3. I think he's maybe
Yeah, I mean,
top 5.
Makar is
but-
like kind of a high ceiling to Makar and
Well, Hughes is
obviously.
I think the clear like front runner right now for the race.
That's not, it's Makar.
No, but I don't know.
I saw
Maybe
a
I'm
recent
listening.
voting.
Maybe I'm listening.
I saw
too
a recent
much.
voting. It was like Makar
Yeah.
like by 30 or
No,
20
you're right.
points.
That's the halfway. Yeah, I saw that too. Maybe I'm listening to too much like Canadian podcasts that are just like loving the Canucks and Hughes
Listen, if I were to choose between the two, I'd choose Makar easily.
for points. But there's something about Hughes. I think he can
Really?
win it again.
No, you know
Yeah.
why I say that? Because we already have
American-born.
Hudson,
True.
the discount Hughes right
Honestly, yeah, we'll see about that. I guess. I guess it's a little more even between Columbus and the Canadiens than I thought, but there's something about, and I haven't watched. I've been definitely watching more Canadiens games than I have Blue Jackets games, but there just seems to be something about the Canadiens that they're finding ways to win. I know that the Columbus has been hot, but I just feel like. I feel like the Canadiens can overtake them, and having like
We do
the
have
coach too. They have a
The
more
core
yeah.
has been. This is what we've been waiting for. The core. It takes a lot of maturity. They've been through a lot. They've been through wins, the Stanley Cup run, of course, and just complete losses. So I feel like they do have the mental resiliency, maybe over a team like Columbus
Yep.
or even Pittsburgh, despite Pittsburgh having the veteran presence there, which I don't think they have the replacements for their veteran presence in Pittsburgh yet.
Yeah.
So we have that established, and it's really showing right now, and that's awesome. But I will say out of the past 12 games we played, we won 10 of them. One of those losses was from Columbus, a regular session loss. So
Yeah, that's fair.
Columbus and Chicago, and then the rest is
Yeah.
like, how are we winning against these guys?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
pretty
that's
funny.
interesting. Just taking a look at the standings here. Columbus is in the second wild card spot. They have 46 points with 43 games played. Montreal's 2 points behind them with 1 less game played. So if their next game tonight,
Right.
if they beat Utah and Columbus doesn't do anything, whatever, they're tied, right? They're tied for that wild card spot, and they have less OT losses. So I think the regulation wins would get the tiebreaker there. It's a little too early to be doing these
Yeah. I mean,
calculations, but and then Pittsburgh is tied with Montreal, but they have 3 more games played.
Oh,
so even
wow.
though they're
They've
there,
played a lot more.
that you assume those are wins just for the sake of the argument. That's 6 you'd be 6 points above him.
Well, now we got some injuries. I mean, speaking of the Utah game,
Yeah.
news from this morning, Emil Heineman got hit by a car as a pedestrian.
Yeah,
That
saw
was
that.
so shocking.
I saw the Frank Saravalli tweet, and I was like, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like a prank account.
Yeah.
And then I was immediately.
I was so disheartened.
Yeah.
I was like, a car?
And miss.
I mean, thank goodness that it was only 4 weeks.
Yeah. I was gonna say, he says he's gonna miss like 3 to 4 weeks for this. They never do, but they didn't release what the injury was, but just gonna have to.
He said it was upper body injury. But wait, no. I saw upper body injury and I saw ankle, and I'm worrying about the ankle because I'm like, damn, a broken ankle would be really tough. But I did see Marty joking about it, saying like how how tough the kid is or something.
Okay, good.
I feel like based on his response, the team might be in good spirits.
That's just crazy.
Despite
and
that
you said
loss
he was
for
a
now.
pedestrian, so it brings shades of the Goodrow tragedy. It's just like
It's scary.
it's really scary. We don't have all the details. We don't know what was involved, so it's like we're not going to talk much more on that. But like, still scary, and it brought me also back to when Buchnevich and Shesterkin were in a car and like got in some accident back when Buchnevich was on the team. I think it was like in 2019. That one seemed like reports came out immediately like, hey, they're in a car crash, but they're fine.
Was it in New York?
I think it was in New York, yeah. And I don't know, like that's a little different because they were driving, and you don't know if they were like racing or like doing something crazy like that.
Yeah, I
but,
have no idea.
It really brings everything into perspective.
All you know is
You're
that
like,
Buchnevich was traded.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're like, oh, you're gonna hurt our goalie? You're out of here. That's nuts.
But Bunting recently got into a car accident outside of Carolina or something, or it was on their trip to Washington or something.
Really? I didn't even really see
And
that.
he was out for that game. I think he's okay. Don't know much more about it, but
It's funny because like
crazy.
I don't usually think of these, like I just think like, all right, they're with the team, they're on the team bus, they're on the team plane, then they're in the rink, then they're
Right.
back to their hotel or
that's
back
it.
to their house, and I don't think about like that type of thing affecting them in season especially. But it was really interesting and weird to see. I was just taken by surprise there. Yeah.
Michael Pezzetta is going to take his spot.
Gotcha.
He's in the couple games that we played last week against Vancouver and Washington. Pezzetta was playing in place of Laine, which is a little weird. He's basically on the second line with like Doc and Newhook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Playing him up for sure.
playing up.
Yeah.
Took a couple bad penalties. Kind of a liability, but fine. I mean, he's good for the time being. I feel like there's other call-ups we could bring up, but yeah, Michael Pezzetta.
Cool. Is that your only like roster kind of switch up right now? Obviously, Dobish has been playing awesome and he's staying in.
Yeah, I don't know who's starting tonight for the
Yeah.
Utah game, but Newhook was reported sick or injured, but he's playing tonight.
Is Laine playing?
Line is playing.
Because he was sick or something for a while, right?
Yeah, he came back for the Dallas game,
Okay.
though.
Gotcha.
And he scored
Yeah, attaboy.
on his
Power
ninth
play?
power play.
Yeah. Does he have a 5-on-5 yet?
No,
Oh my God.
he does not.
Merchant.
Dude, we're waiting
a
for that
merchant.
5-on-5, but he's setting an NHL record now.
Yeah.
So
He said it now officially, or?
Well,
he's
no,
close?
he's like, I don't know how close, but like, I always get the stat messed up, but 9 goals when first joining a team on the power play, like his
Yeah.
first 9
Yeah.
goals. That's insane.
Pretty good. Yeah. On the Rangers side.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
No, go
Okay.
ahead.
On the Rangers side for roster stuff, couple things. No new like big trade rumors. Couple just reports that have came out from Larry Brooks and from other reporters. One of them from earlier in the week, Zach Jones has been allowed to talk to other teams about a potential trade, which sucks. I think we talked about it last week. Like, I always thought he
Wait,
should
how
be-
does that work? Like,
basically
allow the player to talk to other
basically
teams?
you're saying, hey.
I thought it just happens. Yeah,
No,
usually.
well, okay. So all right. So let's take this back, right? A couple weeks, last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. I was saying he was getting healthy scratched, and
Okay.
I'm saying that like he should be playing. I think he's a NHL ready and capable defensemen. They probably aren't playing him because they got 2 new defensemen who are bigger and play a different role. They're not as great puck movers, but they can probably, box out and play the physical game a little bit better because of their size. So the way that it works is he's getting healthy scratch. Basically, the Rangers have given him permission to go to other teams and say, and with his agent, see if there's a fit there. Normally, you can't just go to another team and say, hey, I want to trade. You have to formally request one. And I don't think Jones went to the Rangers and said, I want to trade, but they said basically, right now you don't have a spot, and we think we can probably get something for you if you want to play.
I understand it because I always thought it, that type of news to get out is weird to me because it's not like we asked Justin Barron or the news got out. I'm sure he was asked maybe, but no news came out of, hey, we're thinking of, putting in a trading block, choose a team. It was sort of just Justin Barron's gone.
Yeah.
So it is weird to hear news about that prior to a trade, I guess.
I think it's a little different when you're being scratched, maybe, Barron was in that lineup most nights, right?
Yeah,
so
he was.
It's kind of like they probably knew they had suitors and they were doing their work on it, as opposed to for Jones, he hasn't seen much ice time, but it's a risk.
How old is he? Is he young?
He's young, yeah. He this is his second
why
first or
why
second
not just
real.
keep him?
He just doesn't. He doesn't have a spot. The 6 or 7 guys that we have right now, and the Rangers have been called soft on defense, and he's the guy that they probably just don't see as helping them in that regard. Not to say he can't play, but he's just more of an Adam Fox light. I think I've called him that before. He can move it well, and he can make the good heads up play.
Sounds like an asset to me.
He can power play. He can quarterback a power play. They've had him on the PP2 before when he was in, but getting Will Borgen, getting Euro Vakanainen, even this Mancini kid they have that they sent down, or they had up earlier in the year, but they've since sent down. They see them as better fits for what they want to do going forward. So that's that with Jones. It's unfortunate because I always liked him, and I always thought he had the right attitude. He kind of put in the work and never complained about getting sent down. Never always when he got sent down, worked hard to get back up in the roster.
It
and
sounds like a good culture fit.
It is. I think he's he'll. I hope for him, and I think he'll do well at his next team, wherever that may be.
So it's for sure he's going to be traded.
I mean,
it sounds like you're making it sound like it.
Yeah, I mean, it just when a team says, "Yeah, go look for a trade for yourself," it's kind of it seems like a done deal.
It's writing on the wall. Yeah.
So other things that have happened in the Tuesday game against the Stars, Hedl left at the second period. Wasn't clear where or what happened. I was in the building watching the Rangers against the Stars, and I just saw on Twitter in the intermission Hedl has left and probably won't return. And so everyone's heart drops. And
that
is
sinking
thinking
feeling.
About, did he get concussed or what happened? Because if I don't know how many more concussions this guy has on his career. Until he has to call it quits, right? He's come out and spoken to some of the beat reporters, and he says it's not concussion related, but he would love to talk about it in the future. It was a little weird. It was a cryptic, I would love to talk deeper about what I've kind of been going through these last few years.
Dang,
but
that sounds
let's do it in the
serious.
future.
Yeah, maybe he's going through something.
That said, he's on the trip, the road trip with the guys, and I think he might even play tonight against the Avalanche. So
He's been cleared.
I think if it was a concussion, there's no way he'd be playing tonight because of how serious it was last year. He was, he tried to come back and he collapsed in practice, right? So that was a serious thing. So that's happening. Hopefully he's better. Hopefully he's 100%. He also has a great mindset of just I just got to keep working hard and it's going to make me a better player and I'm just going to fight through the adversity and get back and be good. And whenever he's back and playing, it helps the team and he's great. So, and that's a guy that you can't really trade him because who's going to want a guy who's hurt all the time and who's going to take a risk on a guy who even though he has that potential breakout energy and skill, doesn't really do much for a team if you can't stay healthy. So it's good and bad. Like I don't want him to leave, but it's like I also want him to play, and if he's not playing, like what's the point in
injury
having him?
history does matter. I mean, I would say that's how Laine's stock went down too.
Yeah, totally.
Just 95% of it was that, like injury history.
Definitely. And then the final one is Kreider. Kreider was put on the
Was he
IR.
IR?
Yeah. And I gotta think it has to do with his back injury. That like back when the memo went out of like the trades and like who's on the trade block, Kreider came out and said, "Oh yeah, my sixth disc is like." He went into some like deep explanation about what's going on with his back, and I think we said that was probably just a ploy so that people wouldn't trade for him because it's a
seems for
damaged
real.
asset. But yeah, now it seems like kind of for real. He also is, I think, scheduled to be back. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember a tweet I saw, but I think he'll try to play tonight. Against Avalanche as well, so we'll see. Interesting thing, I think this is my last point on the roster moves. The Rangers have sent down Brett Berard. He's been having an awesome stretch for his couple weeks that he's been up. Scored a couple of goals, had some good assists, always just like an animal forechecking, like getting to the puck fast, playing with like great effort.
Which line?
He was playing with Hedl and Kakko for a while, and then Cooley, actually. Cooley and Hedl. And they've been like kind of the play drivers of the team. But they sent him down, and they called up Bo Gru or Grolks. It's spelled Groulx. Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't heard his. I mean, he didn't. Even though they called him up, they haven't been playing him. He's a center, and I think they just were using him as center depth as Hedl was out.
You love to see it when no names come up, and we've had that a couple times, like in the past years. Less so now, because we have players that are established. But
I mean,
I know what it feels like.
I never want to like rip on a guy. Like obviously he's in the AHL, and I never want to rip on a guy.
I'm not afraid. Sometimes, like we had like Michael Pekka or something come up.
Dude, our coach.
Oh,
he's.
Okay,
no way
we
you
had him
remember
like
Michael
as a
Pekka.
face-off specialist.
Yeah, he is. When was that? Like 15 years ago?
A guy named Flynn or something.
No, so what I was gonna say is I never want to rip on like a young kid getting his first shot at the NHL because that's like awesome and like good for him.
If it's a young kid, then fine. I thought it was like a no-name, middle-aged
I'm pretty sure it's a young
AHL
kid.
person.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Bo is one of the younger guys, leading guy in Hartford. So
don't get me wrong.
Hopefully he gets in and.
I'm all for chances, but sometimes when you see like the middle-aged AHLer come up, you're like, okay, I don't expect anything.
Why is he getting a shot and not one of our prospects?
Right.
That's a big issue with the league. It's just like they keep giving the same names, the same chances. It's just like give someone else a shot.
I think our old organization did that, the whole Bergevin era. The Bergerman. But yeah, Hughes is kind of, and thank you for Hughes, by the way. Mm-hmm. He's really embraced the new culture in this rebuild. And it's still going to rebuild, but it does feel like completely different from, the previous era where we just relied on, our namestay guys like Price and Pacioretty, I guess. Mostly Price. Price was, let's be real, Price was like the guy year in and year out for us. And Pacioretty, probably one of our worst captains.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to rip on Patches right now?
Yeah, I'm going to rip on Patches. He's a Leaf.
Just because he's a Leaf, you're ripping on him.
Okay, Pleck.
You loved it.
Okay, I will say Pleck was a Leaf, but like for a day.
He was a captain?
And he never ripped on.
Candace was a captain?
No, he wasn't a captain. He was assistant. But he's like one of those namestay guys for the team, Pleck. And he never ripped on the Habs ever. He still comes to our games. Pacioretty, like once he joined the Leaves, he like made a couple comments or something. And also,
what comments did he make?
He's just like a slight, like small, I guess, disrespect towards like, oh, I didn't even think about it, sort of thing. Like I'm here to play.
Dude,
I didn't think about it.
Dude, that's not a slight. That's like him.
Well, as a captain, we take our captains very seriously. Our last captain, Shea Weber, obviously Suzuki, dude, they are
I understand.
people that represent the organization forever. Like, that's the thing about
Yeah.
being a captain for Montreal. They represent the organization forever.
All right.
Brian Giunta was a better captain than Pacioretty. Easily.
I understand what you're saying, but to know what Pacioretty went through with his like ankle thing, like multiple years in a row, and then all he wants is like that one last chance to get on a team and like be on a contender for a couple years. I could understand why he's like, I didn't even think about it. All I was focused on was getting back and playing and being in fit shape. But I see what you're saying from a
He had a chance in
emotional
Vegas.
fan. I see.
He was on Vegas, and then he got traded away from Vegas, and then Vegas won it without him.
That's tough.
So, tough luck.
Is he the locker room cancer? Is he?
People had
There's
problems
no
with
way.
him.
Who?
I mean,
Subban?
back in the
It was
day,
just Subban.
it was back in the day. It was Subban
Because
and Patch.
Subban wanted to be captain.
I don't know if it's because
Yes,
of that.
totally.
But I would have been fine with Subban being captain.
No.
The guy is
way.
okay. He may be
Oh man.
a different person on the ice, but off the ice, fantastic person. He still visits the children's hospital
He has some
where
wild takes.
he like what kind of takes like.
He just when he's on the I think he does ESPN, right?
Yeah, he does it with Mark Messier.
Yeah. He has
Yeah.
just some crazy.
And I can tell Messier do not like it. Yeah, Messier
Actually,
does
I bet
not like
Subban
it.
doesn't. I bet Subban doesn't even think about it, but Messier's like this fucking guy, dude.
Yeah.
What the hell? He comes in
Subban just
wearing
like
his,
talks over him.
He like
It's
loves
it's
the Devils too. That's like because he played there,
Right,
obviously.
right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Messier, Rangers. Yeah. And also just generational difference, maybe. Like
Yeah.
he's a showy guy.
Yeah, of course.
Messier is just like a cool, calm-headed, just a good person, And Subban represents the showy part of the NHL, I think.
Instagram hockey.
Instagram hockey.
Yeah. All right. You want to get into some of the games this week?
Yeah.
Cool.
So 3 games this week. We are 2-0-1. Only 1 shootout loss. Pretty amazing week because a highlight for 2 of them, specifically the Canucks and Washington game, we came back and won it. And starting off with the Canucks game, within the first minute, Cole Caulfield just snipes it from the top circle.
Beast.
Such a beast. I don't even know which goal it is at this point, but he's going to hit that 30, 35 goal mark easily.
Hoping for 40?
Hoping for 40.
Sweet.
He may not reach Draisaitl right now because Draisaitl, he's like the leading goal scorer for. He's got like 31 or 32.
He already has 30 goals. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, he's gonna get like 60.
60 goals.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Insane at the halfway mark. So, Caulfield scores, and we have Monty in net, and we let up 3 straight. JT Miller being the killer for 2 of them. And this is on the
future Ranger and former Ranger.
I was gonna say it's in the wake
Yeah.
of the trade rumors of Mika and JT, which I heard they actually turned that down.
Oh right, so that is something I could have pointed to. More came out about that. It was just that initially it was 1-for-1 Mika for JT Miller, and they said no. I think there was a counter offer that was like, we'll do it if you also throw in Braden Schneider, one of our younger defensemen, and maybe like a pick. And Zibanejad for
I would
JT.
have done it. For real.
I honestly feel
And then
like
you would have kept Zach Jones.
I feel like I would have done it too, but they value Schneider really highly. They think he's their top.
Is he a defensive defenseman kind of guy? Or?
Yeah, he kind of has both. He's kind of everything. He like is big. He's physical. He has a little bit of a scoring touch, not too much, but he'll join the rush and have a good shot, and then he'll clean it out. Yeah, it's kind of like I could see him morphing into like a Uyghur or a who's the other guy that I always confuse Uyghur with? A Montour.
Yeah, that's so true. I get them confused.
they're
Were they
traded
on
for
the same
I think
team
they're
at one
traded
point?
for each other or something.
Okay, they were traded for each other.
So they could probably see him at his ceiling getting to that, which is something that you don't really, and that's something that they need. They need a more physical guy, like I've been talking about. So they weren't willing to do it. Maybe that'll change come the deadline, but we'll see.
I think just comparing JT to Mika for a quick sec, I would take JT over Mika.
Well, that's why the Canucks were asking for more.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Sure, you'll have 2
And
Swedish
Pettersson was out for
centers.
this game, so he was pretty much the only one carrying. But there's this, I guess, rookie that just comes on through for the 3rd goal, beats Monty just right on the under the arm for a quick snipe. His name is like Lekkerimaki.
Lekkerimaki, yeah.
Yeah, that, and it was only his second goal. By the way, this is in the Habs stadium.
Yeah.
So down 3-1, and you're like, okay, based on what I've seen the past couple of weeks, I feel like we could come back a bit. There was that feeling inside myself.
Yeah, it's a fun feeling to have.
It's just like, okay, we're down, and it's the end of, or it's during the second period, but I think we could do it. And we slowly but surely would do. We got Caden Gooley from the point, just a nice screen in front, scores. And then we got, in the third period, we got Kirby Doc on the power play. He squeezes it right through the 5-hole of, it's not Demko, it's some other guy. It's not Shilov. It's not that guy. It's their...
The Smith?
I think it's the Smith, actually.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, ties at 3-3, feeling good. Lane Hudson for the fourth. He's actually trying to pass it across to Dvorak, but it actually just goes off Quinn Hughes, and it trickles in for, anticlimactic goal, but his third goal of the year. This game is going to be the game where he actually tops the rookie leaderboard because he gets a goal and 2 assists in this game. And
he's leading it.
He's leading it
for sure
as a defenseman.
Yeah.
And I know he's not the Celebrini show. He's got a little showiness to him with the shake and bake.
Yeah.
Then Jake DeBrusque ties it. We go into OT. Starting on a power play, though, we have an OT power play. And Nick Suzuki from Lane Hudson snipes it in the Suzuki spot, which is the right side. He usually, I don't know if you've seen it, but he like winds up and then just like brings it back, wrists it, glove side, and we win an OT. That was just a hype game. A lot of great action back and forth from both squads, and of course, being at the Bell Center was just absolutely outrageous. After we scored that, he does like the classic, are you not entertained sort of,
yeah.
Are
you not entertained?
To the whole crowd.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see that against the Rangers this weekend. By the way, the back-to-back is Toronto and then Rangers.
Yes. That is crazy.
That might be a little tough.
When is it? It's at night. Should we go?
Yeah. I'm thinking like we could go to a Toronto game. Like,
it'd be pretty sick. Wait, is it in Toronto?
No, in Montreal.
Okay, yeah.
Toronto. Yeah.
We could go.
I want to see a Toronto game.
I'll see with the team.
I do want to see a Toronto game. I haven't seen them in like the most recent roster, and also just that like the Habs Leafs rivalry.
Yeah.
We got Line against Matthews.
I'd be
I think
down
that'd be
to
so
go.
sick.
I'd be down to go.
That'd be
let's
so
figure
sick.
that out.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
The next game we got Washington, top of the league, but oh my gosh, like the things just keep getting better and better. We outshot them like 31-17 or something like that.
Yes.
Jakub Dobiš in net. Again, we're relying on the rookie to shut down these big teams, and he does it once more. Yes, he wasn't challenged, but I think defensively and offensively, we just all came together, shut out, Ovi.
Mm-hmm.
I think he only had one shot on net. Kept him on the outside, no high danger chances. He did shut the door for some power play chances they got due to Michael Pezzetta taking a penalty, especially early. They did score again first. Is it Jacob Chychrun? Chychrun.
Yeah.
He scores the first goal pretty early in the first period, but we come back, and it's just like, I don't know. You wouldn't expect that, especially with Washington playing as well as they are.
Yeah. Totally agree.
We also won in OT. So yeah, Caulfield, regulation goal, and then we got Josh Anderson on the shorthanded. Just a breakaway shorthanded, and this is where a guy like him shines and where his role really needed to come to play. And in these like small moments, it's small, but it's very impactful. And just like the rush and the energy he got from that breakaway and that takeaway at the blue line on the Caps power play, that's what we need him to do. Like just be that power horse kind of guy. But yeah, as I was saying, this game also goes to OT. Hudson has a pretty interesting play during OT. He actually blocks it like with the end of his skate there, but it counted as an assist. So whoever is passing it got blocked by Hudson. It deflects directly to like Suzuki, and they go down. They score.
Yeah.
Deflected to Caulfield. Caulfield and Suzuki, play catch. Suzuki tries to pass it across, and a defenseman blocks it, but then it just ricochets back to Suzuki, and then he just deflects it back in. So it was a bit of a funky goal, not a clean goal,
And he
but
got the
so lucky.
he got the assist there. Hudson?
Yeah, Hudson.
I feel like
Off a
that's
skate.
Yeah, but if they're passing back and forth and then it deflects and it's so much later, like that's a little. I don't know if that might be a little.
I mean,
a little bump from someone.
I could be getting it wrong.
scorekeeping.
Maybe it could have been the case where it bounced off Hudson's skate. Caulfield just passed it in the neutral zone to Suzuki, and he
Gotcha.
kept it. I think that maybe
Okay.
that been the case. And,
Either way.
but I feel like even if you were passing back and forth, doesn't the secondary assists remain the same? No.
Well, I think it depends because you have some goals that don't have 2 assists, right? Like,
right.
but maybe that's only when possession changes. So,
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So yeah, another OT win. Great to see it, and in Washington.
Yeah.
So like
Nice.
it's again we're just killing these cup winners for some reason. I have no idea why, but the troops are coming together for those
yeah.
games. And we did come together for the next game, which was Dallas.
Final game.
The final game
Yeah.
of the week. It was a very exciting game, especially in the first 1.5 periods. There's a lot of back and forth. We were being outshot like crazy, and then we started catching up with the shots. Laine, by the way, Laine and David Savard were out for the first 2 games.
Yeah.
They both came back for this game. Savard was replaced by Jaden Struble for the time being. But yeah, both of them back for this game. And Laine gets his 9th power play, as I mentioned earlier. Just the same spot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Undefensible.
How does he? I feel like that.
He just has he has the release and
You're saying no one else could do that because it's just one spot and one shot.
I mean, there's probably 5 to 10 players in the league that when they're
In that
on,
zone.
and when they're on their game, like I think Zibanejad can do that, but he hasn't been.
Right.
But like when he's in that spot, he'll score from there.
Who could do it?
10 to 15.
Okay, Caulfield. Would he be on that list?
Well, Ovechkin,
Obviously,
I'm talking
Ovi-
about consistently being there and scoring.
Right. Okay, I see. What
I
you mean.
feel like it's
Laine, Ovi.
who's the slap shot king. Like it's those
Actually don't
guys.
know.
Yeah, I mean, like Thompson has a rip. Tage Thompson, I bet. if you
Oh
put
yeah,
him
Tage.
there.
I did see a recent
Yeah.
highlight, and I'm like, wow, that looks exactly like Laine's shot.
Kucherov, but maybe on the other side. I think he's a lefty, right?
Yeah, he's a lefty.
Yeah, so he might go from the other side, but yeah, it's just like, and everyone else, all the other like elite players in the league can score from there, but that's not their like primary spot, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's some guys who probably have just practiced it and done it so much. Like
Well, Laine's
Ovi,
definitely
like
that guy.
Laine. Yeah, exactly. So
He just makes it look so easy. Doesn't seem like he puts.
But he puts
much
it in the
effort.
right place,
Puts
like,
it in the right place. It's perfect because
Yeah.
it's efficient.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't strain too much when
Yeah.
he does it. So anyway, he's the lone regulation goal for us this game, and Jamie Benn ties it against Monty. Monty played a very solid game. Again, it was a very tough back and forth. Dallas is a very, very good team.
Yeah.
And they know how to like swarm the offense pretty well and kind of maintain possession.
They
of
have
the puck.
great depth too.
Yeah.
They pull guys out of the AHL that are just studs, like Stankoven and
Yeah.
like Steele. Like where are these guys coming
Steele actually I noticed he was on Anaheim before, right?
from? Probably.
I think so. He played a great game.
Yeah.
OT was kind of nuts. I mean,
So you had 3 OT games.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And back and forth in OT, post by Caulfield. All our players missed in the shootout, and then it was just a lone goal by Jason Robertson in the shootout for them to win.
Gotcha.
Close game. Great effort. I mean, we got a point, so
Yeah.
I'm happy. And I'm
Yeah.
happy with the general effort there.
Definitely.
It's been a good week.
I guess getting to my games, similar actually kind of thing. We got points in every game. We had 4 games against
That's
Black.
an improvement
Definite
from,
improvement.
from the
You can hear
past
you
10.
can hear in the timbre of my voice though that I'm a little just like meh
Apprehensive
about it.
Yeah.
It's like so. First game they played the Blackhawks, and it was just like open season really on the Blackhawks, which is what it should have been. You know, a couple weeks ago when we played them, when we lost 2-1, I think. But I mean, it seems like now maybe a little bit more time has passed. The players are getting back into, all right, we have to play. We're going to get just destroyed, and it's going to ruin our future if we don't give this effort, even if we're mad at management, even if this, even if that, whatever. So they go out and they just light up the worst team in the league that has been having just kind of worse and worse things happen to them. Like they had the lowest rated Winter Classic this year against the Blues.
I did not
think.
tune in.
I
just saw the Blues winning, just dominating.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the other problem. Like they're in Chicago, and they're they say they're really excited, and they go out and it's like 5-2 or something. Like, really
well, we did that to the Bruins almost like a decade ago at this point. It was awesome. We beat them like 5-1. And it was basically
awesome.
in the Bruins area.
At Fenway, I think.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like in their zone. And it feels good. But no, for views,
it's not great.
Not great.
They also changed it so it was on New Year's Eve night instead of New Year's Day, which is
bad decision.
Well, bad.
I feel like people would tune in more.
I feel like
after New Year's.
I actually don't know. I've heard both accounts or both sides, because New Year's Eve, like what else is on? Like you probably just throw it on. Like there's no, you can have it on.
It's about
at a party,
what you're involved in, though. It's like your mind is like social. I think New Year's Eve, and then the day of, you're like, I want to chill.
Yeah, I agree with that definitely. And just having it on the couch and just.
Also, I don't agree with the Chicago St. Louis. Like that, to me, that doesn't scream, wow, I gotta tune in.
Yeah, well, I think they were probably trying to play on, all right, we got Bedard, he's going to be playing here. It's going to be fun. Like, hopefully the team isn't
He's getting
the
a
worst
lot
team.
of
He's getting a lot of crap.
heat.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if it's deserved or not.
The team's bad.
Do generational players lift everyone up, though?
They should.
They should.
Yeah, so, I mean, you look out to the other bad team, the Sharks, and look what Celebrini's doing. Like, that team's fun to watch.
He's
and,
lifting up everyone.
Even if they're not going to win a ton, they're still like bringing in views and like doing some fun things. But you never know. Like, sophomore slumps happen. Bedard, I think, will be fine. But it's just back to the Rangers. Like, it was a pummeling, 6-2. Trocheck got a goal. We got Brodzinski opened up the scoring for the Rangers. They actually they were down 1-0 off the bat, but then climbed back, and then the Hawks really weren't in the game at all. It just sucks that that type of game.
This is in Chicago.
Yeah. It sucks that kind of game happens, and I'm not like
Why?
excited. It's just like, like.
Shouldn't it be an easy win?
It should be an easy win, but you kind of go in and they go down 1-0, and you're like, oh god, and then they keep scoring and scoring. You're like, all right, well, good. I'm glad they found it, put it together, but it's just it didn't. I'm at the point now of the season where like, are we going to be buyers or sellers? Because like.
It's an uncomfortable.
We're right in the middle, and we're middle of being out of the playoffs, not in the middle. Like we're not right now. The East is so close that we could make a run for the wild card, but will that help us when we know that the core that we have right now can't get past that Eastern Conference final? Like that's kind of what everyone is saying and talking about around the team. So that's that game. The next game, Tuesday against the Stars, I mentioned before, I was at that game. We actually had 26 of our family members get tickets in like the upper bowl, and we all went. Really, really fun.
That's awesome.
And I actually wore this bad boy, Lafreniere jersey hanging up behind me. Got it for Christmas. Meant to bring it last week or the week before, and I think I accidentally brought my Kako jersey. Rest in peace. And I had that on. I think one of my other cousins had Lafreniere jersey on, and Laffy had 2 goals.
26. That's 2 goals.
Yes.
Nice. That's the lucky jersey.
And he has had a bit of a slump lately. So having those 2 goals, and I think he might have had an additional point, was awesome. Like he was on Hattie Watch it in the first period, so it was really fun.
He didn't get the Hattie.
Did not get the Hattie. So the playing the Stars, like you just touched on when the Habs played them. good team, always battling. Jamie Benn had a pretty gritty goal. Couple goals like right around the net. Same old story for the Rangers, just like allowing that to happen. And when you have this big, physical, good kind of swarmy team like the Stars, they're going to do that to you, especially if you can't defend it. So this game, we were up. I think we were up 3-0 at one point. They climbed their way back 4-4 going into overtime, and it just felt like I don't think they're going to win this. Like Rangers team of last year and the year before, they're the comeback team of the league. Totally, even if they were down 3-0 in the third, it's like there's a chance here, especially if they take a penalty or two. Like Rangers could do something, but it just kind of started to get that feeling that they're going to blow it, or they're going to get to overtime and they're not going to find that magic. And honestly, I think the Rangers have been to. I think that game was their second overtime all year, so they didn't have a lot of practice with it. And I know they practiced it like at practice, but like real game time, overtime like experience they didn't have this year. So
I feel like the shootout is worse though. Like I feel like especially from Montreal, we practice OT stuff a lot, but not shootout stuff.
But it's like you practice shootout stuff, and every time you're shooting a
right,
move.
yeah.
So it's
I
like
guess
you don't want to use your
they
ice time
overthink it. They overthink their moves always.
I'm a fan of let's make the overtime a little bit longer, and then like
10 minutes.
I would take a tie over a shootout at this point.
True.
Like it's fun.
So true.
When I was young.
A tie meaning like both get 1 point.
Yeah. It was fun when like I was younger and I would just like hope for the shootout because I wanted to see.
Dude,
like,
I despise
a
the
sick move.
shootout.
But think about the kids though. Like
it.
There's some all-time shootout moves.
But it's not like this. It's not like when
like
Datsuk was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both said Datsuk.
Yeah.
Because it was awesome back then. When
There's
you
some
see,
though. But it's just like
What I don't know. They get
don't
frowned
love it.
upon if
Yeah.
Zegras does anything on
know.
the ice. It's like,
I
whoa,
haven't
what
heard
did Zegras
Zegras'
do?
name in like
Yeah, he's been
a
out.
while. He's hurt?
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
that's right.
maybe not Zegras, but Hughes, Jack Hughes.
Yeah. So, lost in the overtime to the Stars. But at least what I can say from that is like that now they're in games. They're playing
Coming back from 3-0 is good.
No, they were up 3-0.
Oh.
Rangers were up
Rangers.
3-0. Yeah.
I totally
but what I'm
misheard
saying
that.
is like there's the offense, and I think there was a stat last week that was like, or 2 weeks ago that they hadn't scored over 3 or 4 goals. I think over 3 goals in 20 games or something. And now what we're seeing is they are finding the back of the net a little bit more, which is good. They're kind of trending in a direction where, okay, maybe this team can make the playoffs. But that's where I'm also just struggling. Like I said in the first game, do I want them to just like make a kind of flickering flame run where they like, oh, great, they're there. And then they're the last, wild card. They don't get a good draft pick. And they lose to a team that's clearly better than them because they didn't do enough in the offseason or the trade deadline. So that's the decision that they're going to have to like get to. Makes it even harder when the next game they play the Devils and they beat them in overtime, because the Devils have been eating our lunch and pooping on our lawns like every time we play them this year. Like we'll go to theirs or they'll come to our barn and it'll just be the Jack Hughes show, and the Rangers will look horrible, like so bad. And the Rangers played one of their best games of the year.
You beat them.
It might have been the game of the year, and the OT winner was scored by Sam Carrick, who I don't think has ever had an OT shift before.
Right,
right.
Like, that's an odd one.
And it was 2-1, so like it was a very defensive game. They shut down all the players they needed to. They made some big hits. I think Carrick made a great move to block or to hit or to like break up a play that Hughes was doing on the OT in OT, and then hustles down the net, hustles down on like a 2-on-1 and gets a one-timer and just beats the goal. And you can even see in Fox's reaction.
Like a playoff game, like a playoff OT.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like
you need those heroes like Sam Carrick come out in the playoffs.
True, and I think Carrick has been doing great for his role, which is just like get on the puck, hit, like kind of cause some mayhem and not take like Rempe penalties, right? That's another thing. Rempe has been called up. He played this game against the Devils, and the streak of Rempe being in the lineup and the Rangers winning just continues. Like I think they're 18-4-2
Man, we gotta be careful, guys.
It's crazy.
The Jack guy's gotta.
Yeah, you
for a
better watch
fight.
out Sunday.
No, I mean,
Rempe.
no, I gotta say, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
And not because I'm scared, but because I'm scared because he plays so recklessly.
Yeah. No, I'm scared too. Because it doesn't help the team. We go on a 5-minute.
Yeah, and he
and
gets
then he's
suspended for
suspended for-
5+ games.
No, it's horrible. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of that type
it.
of play. That is like unprecedented. Not even our worst enforcers back in the day would do that. Like Brandon Prust or something like George Larocque. They at least knew how to, stick handle and pass the puck and shoot. So, but Rempe does not know how to do any of that. And yeah, Keegan Colasar is right.
Can't play.
You can't play.
Can't play. I was going to talk about that in the next game. So just the last point on the Devils game, like when Carrick takes the shot, you can just see Fox is like trailing. So it's 2-on-1. Fox is the trailer, and he doesn't even react because he thinks it just like went wide because he's not used to Carrick just like putting one in. He's like, he skates away and he turns around. He's like, oh, it went in, and he like goes to hug him. It's
Damn.
like, but like fun, and I know everyone in Rangers, even if we're gonna eventually be sellers and trade and like get rid of guys, beating the Devils who are just like killing us all year.
You got to count your blessings.
In OT, yeah, you got to take that as a win, absolute win. So that was regulation win, OT loss, OT win, and then the final game against Vegas was a regulation win. So we had kind of the whole gambit this week.
There's an upward trend here.
It's an upward trend. It's points in every game, and it's wins against good teams. Because, like, obviously, not counting the Blackhawks, you have Stars are good, like we've talked about. Devils are not top, but like up towards the top of the Metro. And Vegas
Sheldon Keefe he's like third place in terms of the what's it called?
Jack Adams.
Jack Adams. Yeah.
And then Vegas at the time, best team in the league. So played them again. Oh, sorry. The Devils game, let me just correct myself, was 3-2 final.
3-2
in OT. 2-1 was the Vegas game. And again, you're keeping all the chances to the outside. You're playing much better defensively. I called out Phil Housley in the defensive structure before because it was just so loose and horrible. And while it was still not great in the Dallas game, the next two games it's been awesome. Like only letting up 2 and then 1, so much better. And then holding the best team in the league to 1 goal. And again,
that team is tough.
They're finding ways and other players to score in kind of more of a playoff atmosphere. Like the second goal of the game in Vegas was scored by Adam Edstrom. Like it tipped him, hit him, and then he kind of got it with a weird used his big frame. He's
you
like
need
6'8"
the depth scoring
to get in.
It can't just be Panarin.
Exactly. So
by the way, he's been pretty quiet.
You think he's been quiet,
but
and then
he's always.
You look at the score sheet. He has assists every single game and multiple assists. And I do want to shout out because that's kind of the week there. Got 3 wins and 1 OT loss. I want to shout out Trocheck has been really, really good. I think he. Oh, also honestly, Zibanejad has a point streak going. Lafreniere obviously had 2 goals there, and I think he's been on a little bit of a heater. And then Trocheck, I think, also has points in
Anyone
all
in the D,
of those
though?
games. I mean, Fox chips in. Yeah, it's pretty much only Fox. Borgen had a goal in the Blackhawks
But he's been more quiet, Fox.
But I still he's had some really good games the last 2, and when they've been winning and when they've been keeping the chances to a minimum. But Trocheck's been chipping in in the 6-2 game he scored in the Stars game. He also had 2 goals. He's just been all over the ice, and you can really see the way he carries himself, the way he talks. I've said this a bunch, but he is going to be the next captain. I'm so fully certain that, and it probably won't be this year. It'll be in the off season. But
how long is he signed for?
Another 3 or 4 years, I think. So I think he's the guy, and I kind of think that because he's being more of the face towards the media, and to me, that means he's obviously a big voice in the locker room. I think the team is starting to change and play the type of style that Trocheck is used to. So a little better, just more hard-nosed, harder to play against. The biggest thing was they're super easy to play against. You can just skate right through and walk right in and take shots. And it just seems like with this upward trend, Trocheck and the way that his style of play is like kind of reflecting on the team as a whole, and like the change of the guard has happened, or is happening.
Yeah,
now.
the transition.
So I love to see
has
that because
happened.
Trocheck has become a fan favorite for all Rangers fans.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
Great player.
And even though
Any team would love to have
absolutely,
a guy like
the
him.
people are
you
trying,
need a guy
yeah.
like him.
There were rumors of people like chomping at the bit to try to get Trocheck from the Rangers because they've been in this downward spiral, but I think the Rangers held firm that no, we're not trading him. He's going to be our leader. And even if you say, this was a conversation I think we had regarding like, it was from a different podcast, like Nick Suzuki, right? He's playing first line center minutes, but like on a top team in the league, he might be second line center, right?
Well,
hang on, just hear me out,
yeah,
okay? And I think same with Trocheck. Right now, for us, he's playing top center minutes because Zibanejad has been having a bad year. But I think there's probably, this is tough because what this means is no. This makes sense. Both of them are probably not top 10 centers in the league, right? So if we're talking about top contending teams that have a full roster of with like very minimal holes, there's probably 5 to 10 other centers that you would take over them for sure that aren't like obviously there's like some elite centers, right? So like I think Trocheck's, and same with Suzuki.
How old is Trocheck?
He's like 30.
Suzuki is like 25.
I know.
26.
I'm not saying he can't grow.
I know.
Right now,
I think that
both of
narrative
them,
is changing though. For
it could.
Suzuki.
It totally could.
That's why he's up there.
I think both of them are top tier second line centers. And what's great is like a lot of teams they play first and second line interchangeably.
A first line center versus a second line center?
Maybe scoring more, or maybe being complete shutdown monsters like Barkov. Like Barkov's better, Draisaitl's better, McDavid's better, Eichel's better. Who else?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Okay.
Those
so
guys
that's
are
4.
elite.
Who else?
Crosby. Bedard. Would you say Bedard is a top line center?
I think he could be, but I
He
don't
could
think he
be.
is. I don't think he is.
Suzuki, I think, is
And I
better
don't
than
think
him.
Crosby is on a top team right now.
Suzuki's changing the narrative. He's being a point per game kind of person, and defensively, he's like not a liability on the ice.
I'm not saying he is. I'm not trying to take away from Suzuki at all. All I'm saying
No,
is,
I know you're not.
I think right
and
now
his room is still growing.
Yep, but I think
Still
he
growing.
is on a Florida Panthers type team. He's a second line center. Who's the
think
best
that's up for
center on the
debate.
Avs?
On the Avs, McKinnon.
Is he a center? I thought he was.
It's definitely McKinnon.
Are you sure he's?
I'm like 100%. Like
I thought he was like a right winger.
McKinnon, a right winger.
dumb?
Okay, wait. We gotta look at that.
I think there's some content to go through here where we can list some of the best.
It
centers
says a
because-
Canadian ice hockey center.
Okay, all right.
So
I was
Nathan
thinking McKinnon, but McKinnon's better too. So that's 5. And then you look at some of the other like top teams
But
in the league.
those guys are like on another level.
Those guys are on cup contenders.
Okay,
This is what I'm saying.
What about a guy like Robert Thomas, which is I think comparable to Suzuki? He's
second
on
line?
You think he's second, but he's first, isn't he?
Yeah, but they're not a cup contending team. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Dallas. Who's their center? Rupe Hintz. He doesn't have a point per game, I think. Like he's died down a little bit. He's in terms
Is he
of
their top center?
it's either Rupe or Johnston, Wyatt Johnston, and Johnston is
I think they have some holes then.
yeah.
But I don't.
But the thing is, they have the depth
I don't-
around them.
I see them as a great team, but I don't see them as like the top cup contending team. Like you had.
You don't think?
Like I don't know. You take Braden Point, right?
Okay.
You take Braden Point over them.
Pedersen, center. Last
Right
year.
now, yeah,
Last
last
year,
year,
yeah.
yeah.
Like
I don't
him
know.
and JT.
We could do this all day. I think maybe this is a good thing to do.
I will say all the
on
people
break.
we listed is definitely better than Suzuki on paper with
And
the point.
Trocheck, yeah.
And Trocheck.
Yeah.
Um,
Kachuk, winger.
which Kachuk?
I guess Brady's a. They're both wingers.
I thought Brady was a center. Okay.
Whatever.
Either way.
Listen, I think maybe that's
Stutzla is a center. Stutzla's a center.
yeah, I don't.
No, he's
He's not. He's second. So I think.
I guess what we're thinking is the top line center has to be some kind of elite generational talent guy.
Not generational, just a stud. Like Braden Point, stud.
That's true. Braden Point, low key, is one of the best centers in the league, but he's not considered generational.
Yeah.
At all.
I think on a slow week, on a week that we have.
Barkov, yeah.
Yes. On a week that we have like maybe Four Nations or All-Star break, we can do this exercise and actually go through and rank where our centers would rank on a cup contending team, because I think
Okay.
I know it's hard to say, but I really think both those guys are second line like.
Yeah, but think
the
about
top.
it. Maybe he's compensated with a left or right winger that's like absolutely elite, like an Ovi type.
Yeah, but that
person.
doesn't make that's not him.
But that's a cup contending team.
All right, no, let's
Okay,
we spent
it's
too
all
much time on this.
hypotheticals.
Yes. So that's that is the week for me. With the Vegas win, it's great. Rangers are playing the Avs now, so we'll get a update on that, and we'll cover that in next week's show. And then you have the Canadiens playing the Utah. Right
We have
now.
4 games this week.
Yeah, I think we have 4 also.
Utah, Dallas again
Okay.
on Thursday. As we said, Saturday, Toronto, Sunday, Rangers. So
And we're going to try to
tight
go to
schedule.
both of those games. We're definitely going to the Rangers one. Stay tuned for the results of the bet. We're going to,
we're going to do something.
Post some fun things. We'll get some good content from the Bell Center, from Montreal. I guess the last thing, I don't know if we touched on it, the U.S. won World Juniors. I think I said that in the comments last time.
Yeah, we called it from the start, though. The U.S. team was
Awesome game.
so good.
They were down 3-1.
Oh, yeah,
came
just call
back.
it Gabe Perreault. How about that?
Yeah.
Once his NCAA season ends,
I mean, yeah,
we did that with
couple
Hudson
months.
and Caulfield.
Get him in there. I'm down.
Get him in
Get
there.
him in.
You have nothing to lose,
They're gonna
especially
ruin
if
him,
you're
though.
out of a playoff.
They're just not. They're going to
Position.
ruin him. That's what I'm afraid of.
That is a
Or he
scary
could turn
thought.
into the next Kreider, which would be great.
Is he compared to Kreider?
No, but
I
they
thought
both
he's more of a
went to BC.
playmaker.
They both went to BC.
Oh, okay, I see,
and,
that's why.
Kreider came in.
I feel like the
after
play style
BC.
is completely different. Like Perreault is like a playmaker, setup kind of
Yeah,
guy.
they're different. They're different.
And
But-
could score too, but playmaking ability,
Yeah.
like really high IQ
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, is that it?
Sweet. Yeah,
Great.
that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next time and wait for our next episode, which should be an exciting one. And remember to like and subscribe.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.